24, 25 years old, boom, I'm in. I'm officially a business owner. I have accomplished my goal.
Yeah.
My ultimate goal was to do that. Now, did my salary increase? No.
So I was going to ask, so they offered you a partnership.
Yes.
Was there a buy-in on your end?
Yes. So the buy-in, well, there wasn't a buy-in.
Okay.
It was really just me signing in with them so that now it would be, if the business didn't make any money, I'm not going to get my salary.
Okay.
Now my salary is dependent on
Your
the same as
production.
them.
Yeah.
And like what we bring in.
Okay.
I'm like, fantastic. This is great. I did it. Still making like 14, 15 grand. And around this time is when one of my first pals hit 6 figures.
Okay.
So I think that is the hardest thing as a young entrepreneur to go through.
Yeah.
Is you will have friends in their mid-20s suddenly make 100 grand.
Yep. And you're going to be like,
skyrocket.
oh.
And I was already jealous of people making 40.
Right.
Now, the nice thing is I was legitimately happy for him.
Right.
But it does also start to make you feel like, oh, shit, I'm behind.
Right. Well, which is also, going to put a little torch under your butt.
Yep, that's exactly right. So now I'm in it, and I've achieved the goal, and now it's pretty much just riding. We have a great product that I created myself. We have people who are selling. We're getting known about in the community, and then all of a sudden, Dave decides he wants to go do his own thing, or back to go doing his own thing. So he was used to being like an autonomous leader.
Right.
And then with 2 partners, I think a little out. So he leaves, I come in.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well, I'd later find out it was something totally different.
Really?
So so now it's just 2 of us, me and this other person. And we're doing great. Everything's still fine. It's going the right direction. We're only doing corporate work. There was a couple of like weddings and things on the side in the old business. That's what Dave was a specialist in, so he went back to doing that.
Okay.
He recently just sold that company. So he has a whole success story, and he and I are still very close.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations, Dave.
Yeah. So one day, I'm going about my business, and a client I see on the street, and she's like, hey, what happened? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, oh boy, you should read the newspaper, Tara. And I'm like, why? She's like, just read the newspaper.
Oh boy.
Read the newspaper. My business partner is in the newspaper, gotten arrested for harassment. And I'm like, what is happening?
What?
Because my whole world is work.
Yeah.
There is no personal life.
Right.
Personal life is going out and, having drinks with the boys.
Yeah.
That's it. Date here and there, but really my life is work.
Yeah.
Everything else is below work.
Right.
No, I can't hang out because I'm working. No, I can't go on vacation because I'm working. And I like it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, holy moly. And then I start to think into it. I'm like, he did just start dating some girl that owns a store across the street.
Right.
And I knew that girl. And I knew 2 of my friends that were also dating that girl.
Okay.
So I'm like,
you're like,
I wonder if it has to do with that. Because I literally sat him down and told him, like, have fun, but also just know that, and I'd still know that girl. She's a sweetheart. She's super fun, but she is not the tied down type person.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially in a situation when you know she's hanging out with other folks.
Well, apparently this caused him to go mad, and now I'm in a situation where it's like, oh my God, I have to get out of this. I have to get out of this relationship because this person's going to tank the company.
Right.
And this is years before Me Too or anything like that. Imagine that happening nowadays.
Whole nother ballgame.
Yep. So I'm like, all right, I have to establish a plan to go, which is fine. I had kind of outgrown the business, and he had started disappearing. And the way it was supposed to be, let me know if I'm going on too long.
No,
The way it's supposed to be is, in a good partnership, there's the set 'em up and there's the knock 'em down guy.
Right.
I was the knock 'em down guy because I'm the one who actually knew how to run cameras and make everything work.
Sure.
He's the set 'em up for selling stuff.
Right.
And over the years, he had stopped selling and gotten way too wanting to be in the creative world, which is just like, if you don't have the skills, come on.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
we have a good thing going.
If that's how your company is set up, I mean, you need this person in this role.
Mm-hmm. And this is a legendary thing. Like every creative goes through this, where the non-creative wants to start being creative.
Right.
And it's like, I support anyone who wants to learn to be creative, but when you have a good thing going, don't screw it up.
Well, you still can do your good thing and, maybe like dabble.
Well, yeah, like for example, here at the company, which we'll get into, a couple of my folks came in for classical business roles, and I'm teaching them the creative side too, so that they can help out in the jam. That's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But the idea that your sales guy is telling creative how to do it, sales guys say, here's the thing, go do it.
Right.
That's a wonderful sales relationship.
Sure.
Then there's the, I want to be over-involved. I don't have the skills, so I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And it's like, you're just wasting time.
Yeah.
Just wasting time.
Yeah.
Sell the product, and I'll make the product.
Exactly. And if there's
when we're millionaires, then we can do that.
And if, maybe the consumer that he sold to has, given him some insight that he can relay, or something like that. Like that's, a little bit of a different story, but so that once, you guys at that point.
So, I mean, I have to figure out a way out. And I'm just a kid. I am 27.
Yeah.
Maybe. 20-year-olds are babies, especially in the position I was in, because I'm way ahead of.
So, like, you're not 27 now?
I am not. I'm a very, very, very charming 43.
Are you really?
No.
Like,
I wish.
Nah.
I wish. I can't wait. So I decide I'm going to leave, and he hits me with all these contracts and things like that. Of like, oh, you signed a contract, you can't leave.
Yeah.
And of course, I believe that. That is not true. Just so everybody knows, that is not true. You can leave any business relationship at any time.
Yeah.
It's literally, you can't have an operating agreement without it. We had an operating agreement. In the operating agreement. But I'm so burnt out because I'm just like, I just have to get away from this.
Yeah.
And all of my gear was considered part of the buy-in.
Right.
I had to figure out how to get it out.
Yeah. Which is now sounding like going from, just leaving to a little toxic.
Yeah. So we make the agreements. I say that I need to leave for other reasons, and he had moved on to another business kind of anyway, but this was his money, so, and the person who can make it, so.
Yeah.
And just not a good guy to begin with. He was in his 40s, I'm 27, and he's essentially exploiting me.
Right.
So we work out a deal where I will go, where I'm going to move to Philly.
Okay.
And launch this new company.
Okay.
But I'll go back and forth for a while to help essentially pay off different things and make it so like I'm not leaving him empty-handed.
Okay. Super fair.
And as like 5 weeks into that, I'm really beat up, and I'm starting to think this is nuts. So I call my godmother, who's, again, this elite business person, and she's like, something doesn't sound right about that. Let me put you in touch with a lawyer, just to kind of read this.
Of course.
Now, uber successful lady, my hero.
Right.
Easily. So,
love that.
Like I've always had, it's kind of nice because like in the 90s, I've had a like female business hero.
Yeah.
Which just for empowerment and whatnot is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I've always had that. She worked at GE. She was valedictorian at Boston College. She went to Harvard Business School.
Yeah.
Now works for this investment firm where she became the VP super fast, is now the CIO. So just a
total badass.
Another level of human.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go for her.
So the person she puts me in touch with, this lawyer, is the mayor's son.
Okay.
Like the mayor of Albany's son.
That's so
because
funny.
they met at Harvard Business School.
That is
so if
funny.
you have friends in high places, they help.
I mean, hence the networking.
So he says, honestly, this is a little different than what I do. I'm a different kind of attorney, but let me put you in touch with the best person I know at this.
Right.
That person calls. I just pull over, like I'm going back and forth, and I just pull over in like a rest stop. And this lawyer calls me. I'm talking to him, and I'm beat up, and I start to explain it. He's like, none of this sounds right. Can you send me your operating agreement and all the deals that you signed? And
because that's what it comes down to.
Yep. And I'm like, sure. And I send it to him, and I'm sitting. At this point, I've moved to Manayunk, but I'm just going both ways. And I live in a house with 8 dudes because I have no money.
Yeah.
But you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
You want to launch a business.
Absolutely.
And I'm staring at the ceiling, and he calls, and I pick up, and I'm like, hello. And he says, hey, Terry, this is, so-and-so from this law firm. Everything in here offends me as a lawyer. I want to represent you now. Right now, stop making any sort of payment and withhold everything. It says very clearly in your operating agreement you could have left the whole time.
Wow.
So read your contracts, kids.
Yeah. Definitely read your contracts. Or if you don't have somebody that knows what they're reading, read your contracts.
Yeah, and that leads into him basically saying, like, you don't have to do anything. Don't give him another check. So I stopped giving him payments because I was essentially rebuying my gear and making payments to get it out. And eventually he catches up to what I'm doing and asks and says, I'm not going to make any more payments because this is ridiculous. He flies off the deep end, threatens to sue me. And then that begins of him trying to sue me.
Yeah, which is like exhausting.
Well, which turns into I'm getting sued. I'm trying to start a business. I have no money, but I'm going to keep going.
Yeah,
right? I'm
because
keep going.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
When these bumps in the road happen, you can't curl up in the fetal position and not get out of bed.
Yep. And the nice thing is I kind of had justice on my side of we were right. He was trying to exploit the thing.
Totally.
To the point where we're in a legal discussion. And I have my representation, and he has his. We're using a mediator. And my lawyer's really questioning, and the cracks are showing. And one of the things that is said is he can't just leave me. And my lawyer is like, what? Like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Anyone can in a professional thing. That's not a true statement. And he says, well, if he does, I'm going to be forced to threaten legal action. And I hear his lawyer, who used to be my company lawyer, do this. Oh, because if you say that in their profession, everything's out of bounds. The whole case can be thrown out because you are not allowed to threaten legal action towards someone. You're not allowed to say, if you don't do this, I will sue you. My lawyer knew that. His lawyer knew that. My lawyer brought it up immediately. He says, in our profession, that is not something you can do. We hang up the phone.
Yep.
Hang up the phone, and basically then I just am dealing with emails being sent to me about the lawsuit. And I'm just told ignore all of them because we got what we needed on that recorded line.
And that's something that you can do.
Game's over.
You just
But also, the lesson is, if you don't need anyone, you're bulletproof. If you need someone else to do the work, you're in trouble. If you have no skills. So my entrepreneurship advice for video production is, if you're going to direct or you're going to produce, you better know every single thing involved in this process so that when someone lets you down, and they will, this is a business.
That's how it goes.
You can jump in and fix it.
Absolutely.
So that's a big one. So moral of the story is, I am in Philly. I have gotten rid of the other person. I'm ready for take two, and now I'm on my own for this.
So is this where Terry Leahy films?
This is where Terry Leahy films starts. So I get, as I'm going through this, I finally get the phone call from Dave, and he's like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry. I was not allowed to tell you why I left, but I left because he pulled the same move on a girl back then.
Oh, wow.
So he knew that this guy had like this weird thing. And had to go. So it's just like, well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
But I understood it.
Yeah, especially.
And now I was grown. Now I had been sued. I had won. And I had not stopped trying to build my business at the same time. Because I had some clients in New York City and things like that I was able to sustain.
Yeah, which is great.
It was, but believe me, there were many days where I was like, I am not going to make rent.
Yeah.
And then miraculously on the 29th, like a small check would come in and I'd be okay.
And you're like, oh, thank God.
So that, I know that was a very long birth story, but it's kind of, all of it's part of it.
Yeah, of course, it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
And I get from that is really just, kind of had your ass handed to you.
Yep.
And all along you just kept powering through.
Yep.
Made it to the other side, and now you're about to be reborn.
And this is, you have to learn that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to learn that the business does not stop because you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
The business does not stop if you're being sued.
Yeah.
None of it
No,
stops.
you still got to get your stuff done.
You have to, and the most important thing you can learn from there is compartmentalization. You have to be able to leave your baggage at the door and go to work.
Yep.
If you can't do that, you cannot do this.
Yeah. It's a great lesson.
It really is. You know, if you get dumped, which I have been, you still got to go to work with a smile on your face.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just professionalism.
Yeah, you could be broken in half, you know, and you still have to show up.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. Oh, your knee doesn't work? Tough.
Yeah, put a brace on.
Yeah, exactly. You got to go through it. You got to go through it. But yes, so I'm in Philly. I'm by myself. I moved into the cheapest place I could, which was like essentially a halfway house with a bunch of other dudes. I have my gear. I lost money on it. So essentially, a lot of this gear that's in this room I paid for twice.
Okay.
But worth it. I got it out.
Like,
it's not about the money.
And you're starting fresh, and you know you got to sometimes take those 2 steps backwards to you know jump forward.
And it's not about the money.
Yeah.
It's just not. If it is, you're in trouble because you're not going to make it through your 20s.
Yeah.
If that's really important to you, you're not going to be able to handle when you have less than no money.
Right.
You know, you're not going to be able to handle when all your friends start making tons. You're not going to handle it well when your family starts doing better and they're worried about you.
Right.
Like, when are you going to stop this? That
right.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so this is the birth. Now, the great thing about this, I had done it before. Where I used to live, I learned how to do videography in a town that was semi-urban, but had like a downtown walkable street.
Well, Main Street.
Yep. So the reason I'm here is because before I moved, I was just shacking with my sister, and I looked up Conshohocken, Manayunk, and a couple other towns. Manayunk had a strong social media presence.
Yeah.
And was walkable and very similar to what I just come from. They had an economic development corporation.
Yeah.
I had cut my teeth with the SEDC, Economic Development Council, the Saratoga Chamber of Commerce, all of these places. I learned how to do this.
Yeah.
So I immediately approached them and just introduced myself as the new guy in town.
Yeah.
The head of that at the time, I had a great meeting with them. And I had gotten there just as the old video production company left.
Oh, well, that
so I literally came in while someone was leaving. So sliding doors, cosmic things. You know, you gotta be ready.
Yeah.
And I knew how to do it, and I had a product ready. So a couple weeks later, I get a phone call. Hey, Tara, this is Jane from the MDC. Mm-hmm. We're having this event called the Best of Manayunk, and we're inviting people to help out. Most people are donating their time. Would you be up for that? I said, absolutely. Again, I have less than no money.
Right.
But yep, I will do the free work.
Absolutely.
So this is why I go to war with the don't work for exposure. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Get the exposure.
Totally.
So I go in and
Charge your worth. Charge your worth.
Yeah, it's like, stop. You're worth nothing yet. you have no worth yet. You're taking up resources, not providing them yet.
It's a thing.
So so I go through and do this, and I go to this event. It's actually where I met you for the first time.
Yeah.
There is a red carpet repeater, and they have some interns that want to interview business owners of Manayunk as they come by. I'm like, great, I will meet everyone.
Yeah.
Set up the 2 cameras. I have all my collateral, business cards ready to go. Anybody I meet, I'm able to give them one if they ask for it. And I do it at a level that is way beyond what free work, quote unquote, should be.
Right.
And that's kind of my attitude. If you're going to do something, go all in and throw so much friggin' production value at it.
Yeah, like show them what you're made of.
Yep. And so I do that. And again, I'm going back and forth during this time to settle the issues. And I'm editing this thing, and I'm late at night. And then I got to go do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I'm by myself, so I cut all this stuff myself, and I end up making, I think, 25 to 30 short videos.
Okay.
That are double angle, and they're cut, which is absurd for a red carpet type thing. And Jane's like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is so far beyond what we expected that we're so excited. Can we put these out? Will you come into the office so we can talk about compensation?
Yeah.
Which... First of all, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, after the fact, I accepted it as free that someone would say, we need to talk about compensation because this is incredible.
They recognize the value.
Yeah.
You know?
But this is where the whole plan gets put in.
Yeah.
This is where entrepreneurship Terry shines. And I do something that's like pivotal for the rest of everything, which is I go in and they say, what can we pay you for this? It's so good. I'm like, instead of paying me, what I'd like you to do is co-sponsor a show with me about Maniac. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I want you to put it out on your social media and I'll make it. You got to give me full creative control of this thing.
Right.
But you can decide who's on the show, and we'll do interviews with business owners, and we'll do, things in people's stores.
Right.
Essentially all of my superpowers that I had already harnessed in Saratoga, I was bringing to Maniac.
Yeah.
They said, sure, let's do it. We get it started. First guest is Julie from The Wall.
Yeah.
And I throw everything at this.
Right.
I am by myself, but there's 4 cameras in here right now. They were all there. Right. I threw in crazy amounts of lighting. I had tracks on the floor. And I did this myself. We were in Winnie's spot from back in the day.
Oh, my God.
Smoking John's 5 years ago.
Right.
And that changes everything.
Yeah.
I start making the show. I'm just making the show. There's no money involved in the show. I just wanted a place for it to go out to get my name out there.
Yeah.
Again, exposure. Free stuff at a high level.
Clearly it worked.
That's how we know each other.
Clearly it worked.
So we do that. We set it up on an every 2-week cadence. I make sure I'm very disciplined about it, hit everything. I'm excited to do it. I ask for nothing. It's just, I know that if I can get this show going, this town will say, that's that Terry guy. He takes videos for us.
Yep.
That's all I needed to do.
Yep.
And we did that. And we kept it going. And we go through a whole season, and I'm happy. Through this season, I meet most of Maniac.
Yeah.
Most of Maniac Business. I'm looked at now as Maniac Business, and the calls start coming in.
Yep.
Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything is just coming in. And I'm starting to get these little things. I'm starting to survive,
Wait, am I actually making money now?
Yep. Not yet, but we still made negative $7,000 that year. Which, so entrepreneurship lesson, don't do this unless you're prepared for the year of no money, because there will be a year of no money.
Yeah.
And you have to do it that way, because you have to get buy-in from people before you charge them for buy-in. That's such a mistake when people think that, I'm going to come in and say I'm a video expert. First of all, you're not.
Yeah.
All of us suck.
I mean, it's just starting out.
Yeah.
So you got to sow your oats a little bit.
You do.
You
do. I mean, you got to feel like you're like Bruce Springsteen said, you got to feel like you're the baddest ass in the room and also recognize you suck. That's the only way to do this.
I love that.
So that you can get better, but also you got to walk the walk.
Right.
So another meeting comes and we start to explore advertising. I'm like, let me start doing ads for this show. We'll split it. Again, I'll be making the ads, so there's a little bit of incentive for me there too for the production company. We hit the ground running on that. I get the show to where it starts paying for itself, which is wonderful.
Of course.
And that goes, and then I meet more and more. The studio we're in right now is Mullen Hop & Co. started Maniac Studios. I met them because he saw me doing the show. Oh, you're that guy in Maniac that does the video. Design Blends, Brian Corcadillos. He sits on the couch. Oh, can we start working together? I love that you're doing video here and I'm here too.
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going. And at this point, I think I've done work for everybody here.
Yeah, probably. I mean, your level of exposure in this community is,
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, you got to earn your way.
Yeah.
You got to earn, like, people should know, to get people to know about you, you have to have a service that you're willing to offer.
Right.
Now, for me, it was great because a lot of people pay for advertising, and you should at the Video Content Factory. But essentially, that was what I was paying for. I did it with time.
Sure.
Because I could build my own ads. So that's kind of what I did. But my advertising was a free program for my community.
Yeah.
So that they could see Terry takes care of Maniac.
Yeah.
MDC decides they're going to hire me too. So now we have 5 clients, and it all boom, 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 hit it once. A big client that I have out in Radnor is because Nikki Boston, who used to be a business owner here, knew of my work and asked if I would go pitch a client with her. And again, all of these clients are still with me.
Right.
You know, there was, I had to go through that to really get it to happen.
Well, you nurtured relationships.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
So fast forward.
Yeah.
You're in Terry Leahy Films. You know, you have like your nice little client base building up.
Yep.
You're starting to make money. That's where that's how I know you, as Terry Leahy Films. So now, what happened that you are now transitioned into the video content factory?
So Terry Leahy Films has my name in it. People are expecting Terry Leahy to be there.
Right.
I have brought on Cody, who just interrupted the show at this point, and is kind of my right-hand man. Now, I had other people before. They all left me for Los Angeles, which is what you do when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
And when they fail, they come back, which is great. But Cody, we had picked up and was kind of my right-hand man. And now Cody was a good enough director, videographer, that I could send him out to do this client while I'm doing this client.
Right.
But I can't have this client be upset that Terry isn't coming anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I'm like, it's time for a rebrand. I got to get my name out of it.
Yeah.
We had grown. We also had developed a product. And this product was, the way I do video is different than a lot of people do video. My video is very much a product. You could call it a factory style of video, because our attitude is we want to do high frequency and high volume content.
Okay.
Which means create content that's released often and also make a shitload of it, because we live in a quantity world when it comes to video.
For sure.
Like, it is quantity over quality. It literally is in the social world. If you make one A+, that is not going to do shit.
No.
But if you make 1,000 Cs, you're going to move the needle.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have presence.
So we had a product, and we had a team that was ready to do it, and we had more than just Terry was skilled in making this product. So we turned it into the video content factory.
Awesome.
And we brought the moose pigs with it. So my brand was based around this little dude named Mighty the Moose Pig that people would always be like, what is that? Is that a pig as a logo?
I know. I guess I've never noticed the logo.
Yeah, the logo, that was the best marketing decision I ever made.
That's
was
so great.
To put a little pig with antlers above my name.
That's hysterical. I have to literally go take a look.
Yeah. So we transitioned that to being the video content factory, and now we have it's more than just Terry now.
Yeah.
We're a team of 6 now.
Awesome.
And there's 3 of us that can each run our own productions at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's a 4th coming in, so we'll be able to run 4 simultaneous productions.
Yeah.
It expanded into studio work here.
Yeah.
Where we can direct shows here in the studio as well as do outbound stuff.
So what are the type of shows that you are directing that, right now I'd like to give you this opportunity to kind of sell yourself a little bit on what this studio is and what you guys have to offer at this point. Yeah,
so the studio is equipped with a lot of different things. One, it's multi-room, and 3 of these rooms are completely soundproof.
Okay.
There's a visual studio, and then there's soundproof rooms. So if you need to have something recorded where sound is really, really important, we have spaces for you. Okay. There's green screen capability that we can do here, which has been beneficial for different kind of clients that are trying to do like remote shoots where like somebody maybe missed an interview. Yeah. They need to be popped into an existing video, but they don't want it to look like they're somewhere else.
Right.
So we can do some trickery there. But the studio, the real big thing is we had kind of the big boys reach out to us. So a lot of pharmaceutical companies came here to do our bread and butter, which is the live stream.
Okay.
So this studio is equipped with extremely fast internet, and we have thought through how to stream. Yeah. I think this is the best streaming facility in Philadelphia. It is definitely equipped to do different streams in 3 different rooms all at the same time.
Yeah.
We can do very, very advanced streaming and keying as well, but it can also just be used as a nice place to go and do kind of videos like this. Right. So the visual podcast, we know that like the back of our hand because it falls in line with a lot of live event conferences. Now, the other thing is this was all during COVID. So everyone was like, okay, we can't have our giant event where everyone's smashed against each other.
Right.
How do we host this event? So we started kind of hosting the events here. And we would just bring in, 5 or 6 doctors or pharmaceutical reps, and they would kind of do their piece just like they would in a professional studio, and we would broadcast it in real time.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I'm excited for you guys to see it because Terry's going to give us a tour in a little bit.
Yeah.
But the studio is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so like, I don't know, it's just like tucked away, and then you walk in and it's like, oh, you got all this going on?
Yeah. And pretty much every piece of equipment I've ever used is in here. So there's sliders, there's dollies, there's cranes, there's teleprompters, there's everything you could need. So basically,
so the things you had to buy twice,
it worked out.
Worth it.
It worked out. But basically, my thing was, okay, anything a TV studio can do, like an ABC or an NBC, I just got to be able to make sure this is 5 times better than it. And I think we are there, which is great, while also doing all our outbound work, which is we try and stick in the marketing world.
Right.
But we are all trained classic production people, so we can really do anything.
Yeah.
CGI stuff.
Which is?
So like, not CGI, I misspoke. Like full 3D animation renderings.
Okay.
That's where we probably wouldn't go, but everything else we can kind of fit into, and that includes motion graphics, that includes keying, that includes classic interviews, that includes promo videos, things like that.
Okay. Cool.
But we do things from a marketing perspective because our product, now that we're the factory, is based around the idea of every person in marketing needs a ton of video content that comes out frequently.
Sure.
So we're really equipped to do that. So, we have a bunch of methods of doing that, but they're tried and true. We have starter packages for people who are like trying to dip their toe and get used to how it feels.
Totally.
And the other big part of that is you just got to get used to being filmed all the time.
Right.
We're going to be there once a month. We're going to film you.
Yeah.
Everybody in the office needs to expect to be filmed.
Yeah.
That's just the game. The game we're playing.
I mean, it's the world we're in.
Thank God for YouTube. God for YouTube. It really changed our whole lives.
No, it's incredible. I mean, and I've watched your career grow. It's, you're flourishing, and, watching your team grow. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and took a long way to get here, but I couldn't be happier.
Well, and that's the point, right? Yeah. It's, you put the time in, you put the work in. It's not called work. It's not work. It's work. You put it in, and then you reap the benefits.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, and then you get to pass on what you know to your crew, and they're like your kids. It's like now all your employees are the most important things to you, and you want to make sure that they are equipped to do great things. It's funny. It's
spoken like such a true, passionate mentor.
Yeah. Well, that's the other reason. Take Terry Leahy out of it, because a CEO is not at the top. A CEO is at the bottom. I work for them, right? Yeah. And it's kind of like everything changes once you have employees. There's such a different mindset from founder and solo entrepreneur to an entrepreneur with a sidekick to developing an actual fully functioning team and switching your title from owner to CEO.
Yeah.
And now, as they like to remind me, even I'm subject to the rules now.
Yeah, absolutely.
However the company's run, I have to also abide.
Want their success. I mean, I know with my studio locations, I have 25 employees, and they are so important.
Yeah.
And it's, I want them to grow and be successful. And I can tell you have that same passion for your crew.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that coming from you, because I know you're a multi-shop, multi-location, multi-crew. So for me, we're one location, one crew. But, eventually I'd like to share the same model where it's kind of like we have this crew, and then maybe we have a Florida crew, or maybe we have a North Carolina crew or something like that.
Absolutely.
Or even just another part of the city. But we're really excited to be here, and it's a long journey, and there's a lot of bumps and bruises that you're going to take along the way. But if you can make it to the other side, you'll get to a point where you can just work twice as hard. It never ends.
No, but that's what entrepreneurship is.
I agree.
So Tara, thank you so much for chatting with me today and sharing all of your journey, all of your experience. I took a lot from that, and I'm sure other people will as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of you. I'm a huge fan of the podcast, and I'm excited for more people to see what you do and hear more entrepreneur stories. So thank you for letting me be a part of this from behind the scenes and then on the scene now.
My pleasure. Thanks, Terry.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, guys. So Terry is going to give us a tour of the Manayunk Studios. I'm so excited for you to see it. It's such a cool space in this little hidden gem of Manayunk. So, Terry, please lead the way.
Absolutely. So actually, this is the first part of the space. This is an event space where people can rent out and do sort of parties and things like that. But also, we have used this as a studio. So this is actually the beginning of the tour, right? So this can be used as a space. It's fun. It's cool. It's open.
Yeah.
Gloss Black did a design back there. Everything is just kind of a wonderful place.
Yeah.
So this is part one. And also, if you look over there, that Welcome to Manayunk Studios, we can put your name up there so that you feel super welcome for coming to the studio. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing. All right, cool. So we're going to go this way. Okay, so we're passing through from event space into control room. So master control has been my baby for a long, long time.
I mean, this looks like somebody's baby, clearly.
But the thing you'll probably notice right away is the sound is incredible in here. This is the first of the 3 soundproof rooms.
Okay.
So right here, this is where Dan, the audio engineer, would be. You can see he has this giant, massive system that he works. And then just recently, over the past 4 months, I developed this whole area back here. So that over there is kind of everything where I would work. That's my master control. So it's 4 monitors, 3 switchers, 2 cameras that we run through Ethernet, and then everything else is kind of piped in that room. You can actually see, I keep it a little grungy with literal cable coming through the wall.
No, I actually appreciate that it's neat and tidy versus like 5,000 cables coming through the wall.
That's more my guys. Like I am not the cleanup is very, very hard for me because I'm like, I need to be able to see everything and pull it out. So master control.
Yeah, this is something.
The next room that we'll go into, also soundproof, and this is the music room. So full working pianos, there's keyboards, there's guitars.
Yeah.
We have done, like I said, these are all routed. So this room and the visual studio where we were is routed into master control so I can get to it. And so this is our second sound stage that we usually just kind of keep a green screen up here so that we can do any sort of green screen work in here in an audio-proof environment. We actually have Wharton professors come in here often and record lectures in this room because when COVID happened, they had to figure out a way to digitize teaching. So we do that in here. This is also kind of a knock 'em down, beat 'em up space. So you'll see there's lights and things that I'm constantly working on. Like I just did this the other day, put a new backlight in up there. And to do it, I ripped the ceiling out. So sometimes you just gotta be, this is the blue collar part, like I was saying. Connection is big, that all of these are connected. This is actually stream unit 2. So if I need to do a live stream for somewhere that's not in there, like I can go to another office, I would just take this whole kit, which is on wheels, and can kind of do that.
I love the thought behind that.
This table right here was the original podcast table. You can actually see 2 little mic stands that were put in.
Yeah.
So just a regular sit at a desk podcast, less advanced than ours.
Yeah.
Can also be done here. And then this is kind of our war room where we'll just figure things out. Last but not least, this is the visual studio where we recorded the podcast itself. So you can see cameras are here. Everything's mounted on robot dollies. Yeah. There is a full-on crane unit right here.
Okay, cool.
Which, if we want to do advanced shots, we obviously can do that.
Do you guys play with that often?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We've motorized this. Everything in here is motorized, and everything can be used from the other studio. So I literally got it to where we didn't need a camera operator in here because we can run everything remotely, which was a big, big change.
Yeah.
Awesome. But that's kind of the whole studio. So we'll walk over here real quick, back into the event space. You see it's just one loop, which is pretty cool. And we'll come back this way. And so you can see over there that this is how you would come in. So it's a straight shot right down. It's a private space. It is connected to the marketing agency next door, which is just rebranded as The Moving Company and is a B2B growth agency. So our desks are actually in there, and we can come out here, but it's totally private. So if someone ever wanted to rent it out and not interact with the office over there, no problem.
Yeah.
We can absolutely do that. So this is the kitchen area. So coffee fridge. There's even an oven that we found that is pretty cool. It was clean. It's not like we found it in the trash.
We were trash picking one day and got an oven.
But I have absolutely cooked burgers and stuff in there for clients. And then our favorite thing is the washer dryer. That is a super, super important thing to have. And then finally, the last thing we'll go visit is the green room. You can't be a studio without a green room. You have seen this green room before because it's where Tara gets all the guests ready. So green room is equipped with cool lights on a board. You can't be a green room without these cool makeup lights, I think. But it's just a cool place to hang out, and there's shower in here and bathrooms down the hall. But there is a shower in here if anybody ever needed it.
Yes.
And that's kind of the whole studio. So everything you could want, and we are capable of handling multiple projects at the same time. So literally we could run 5 projects, 5 clients at the same time in separate rooms and never impact any of them. Green room might get a little crowded, but that's okay. It'll be fun.
But it's doable.
But that's Maniac Studios.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the tour.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
And Tara is a guest of the studio. She comes here all the time.
Yeah, I love it
the
here.
studio, and we're looking for more people to join Tara.
So how would guests get in contact?
Sure. So you can always contact me, Terry at thevideocontentfactory.com. But there's also a Maniac, spelled MNYK, studios.com page where you can book time and sessions, and you'll interact with Dan. And then there's also client relations at thevideocontentfactory.com. That's Kat, and she's kind of our catch-all for anybody. If you ever have any questions or want to give us a call, we'd love to talk to you.